Welcome back, Daily Show. 9:17, a little bit of change. I wanted to start early. Dr. Great, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing great today.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on the show, and I'm really excited to have Associate Physicians Group, right here along the next couple of months, and just talking with you and some of your experts there that really can help us help ourselves,
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Dr. Green, for all the folks that maybe haven't gotten a chance to meet you yet, it's interesting. Before we even do all that, let's break the fourth wall. My fiance and I were talking before I left today, and she knew I wasn't feeling too good, and she goes, "Who are your guests?" And I said, "Well, Dr. Green's coming on." And she goes, "That's my dad's doctor. That's my doctor. That's your doctor. Whose doctor isn't he anymore?"
Yeah.
Well, give us your background, if you could, Dr. Green, and just your time in healthcare and in medicine, and right here in the 618.
Well, I've been in Alton since I was 3 years old when my parents came back from a round in the Navy out in California where I was born. And so went to local schools, went to Marquette Catholic High School, spent some time at Alton High for some advanced chemistry classes, which were offered and sponsored by Olin back in the day.
Wow.
U of I undergrad, U of I medical school in Chicago, internal medicine training in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and then moved back here home. And I've been here practicing medicine ever since the early 1980s.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And take me through your office a little bit. You guys are located in a great spot. It's in Northport, correct? Is that the official street you're on?
It's, gee whiz, 4414. It's West Center Drive.
West Center, okay.
It's over by, some people would know Nautilus, the workout facility. Cope Plastics is in the neighborhood.
Roberts
AutoZone, Roberts Ford, Taco Bell, all that stuff. We're right in the middle of all that. One of the things that people like is we're right in the middle of the community.
Yep.
We're right on the parking lot. We're accessible. There's no long walk. There's no stairs. It's quick in and out. We do lab, x-ray, physical therapy, a variety of services right there, and very convenient.
Well, and I think that's really the biggest takeaway from so many folks is that your office is so efficient to be able to have all those different spokes of the wheel, because I'm sure that's not easy to organize and to make sure that everything's going at the pace it should be too.
Right. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
It saves time. It's convenient, particularly for our patients who might have disabilities, accessible. There's a convenience piece to that.
Well, and one thing I was looking at not the other day. I need to get my yearly now that I think about this, Dr. Green. I need to schedule my yearly. One thing I saw that I thought was so interesting was this enhanced wellness program that your office is offering out. Take me through this a little bit just to inform the public a little bit more about it. Let's dive into it.
Well, the practice of medicine has evolved quite a bit, and I'll get into that in a minute. But we've toyed with this idea on and off for a couple of years. And then finally, early summer 2024, we kicked off what is typically called a concierge program. We titled ours Enhanced Wellness. And there's a variety of things. It's a subscription model. It's a membership model. Before coming in today, I kind of looked around the country, and it's really, I think it's the future of good advanced primary care medicine. My sister tells me, who lives in the Chicagoland area, Kathy, she says that just about everybody up there has to enroll in some fashion like this. So, and there's one other physician in Madison County doing it by instead of along with myself. But we just provide a variety of things that are attractive to people who are really interested in. Partly there's convenience items, and then there are enhanced care items that in the traditional 15-minute visit, you just really can't get into that.
Well, and another thing I think is so cool is just, reading a little bit more and talking to the staff a little bit and hearing from you is that it seems like, so many times we go in and it's because we're reacting to something that's going on, with our bodies. It's not a preventative, thing, or it's not a let's just get these things taken care of because it's time to get them taken care of. It's normally because we pushed it off too far. What's this model do to help us with that and to really kind of get ahead of just doing what CJ does and pushing off the yearly and waiting for things to back up?
Well, that's a great question. And if you want to focus on the urgent problem that you're faced with, say, when you woke up today or as the day went on, I got to see the doctor tomorrow. One of the advantages of our enhanced wellness program is access. And access comes in a variety of ways. The first access is that telecommunications, okay? So I carry a dedicated phone right here for our enhanced wellness patients. This is my personal phone. This is a special phone, and I've got it with me all the time wherever I am. And the patients can text, voicemail, or call on that 24/7. We have a dedicated member in the office who also has a telephone during normal business hours, so you can call in directly and talk to somebody immediately who will take care of the problem, whether it's a refill, whether you need to be seen today, tomorrow. And so the patients in this program are part of the program is same day or next day appointments.
Yeah.
And where that comes into play is we have really short-circuited for this population the need to use urgent care facilities and in many cases the need to go to the emergency room because we can get on it right away. And I think there's time savings for the executive. We all consider our time valuable no matter what you are. Maybe there's time savings for the college students. And then there's also just not waiting in line at urgent care, not waiting in line at the emergency room. And frankly, the emergency room definitely has a place in healthcare.
Yeah.
But when you step across the threshold, you are going to be getting expensive care.
Right.
And maybe this just needs a phone call, and maybe it just needs an office visit. And then the other side of this, people call me and want to come to the office, and sometimes I have to tell them, you know what, this is serious. You need to go to the emergency room because you need X, Y, or Z.
Right.
So, but we can do that. And then I will call the emergency room in advance. Tell me where you're going to go. You're going to go to Alt Memorial. You're going to go SF St. Anthony's. You're going to go to Oliver Anderson over in Maryville. I will call them in advance, talk to the nurse supervisor, tell them, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so is coming over. They've got X, Y, and Z. I think they need to have this done. If you could expedite their services there, we would appreciate it. And I've had patients come back and tell me that when I got there, they knew all about me. They took me right back. They hooked me up to the EKG, whatever it is. So,
that's incredible.
So, but this takes time. And the way we run the program allows me to dedicate the time for those kinds of services.
Well, to me, it's just so important to have this on so many fronts. The first one is the doctor-patient relationship, I think. So many times, and this isn't me personally, but there's, older relatives of mine that, don't see you, but go to see their other, healthcare providers. And, they maybe don't ask a question because maybe they just don't have that good of a relationship. They listen and they nod, yes, okay, thank you. They get in the car and they go, well, I didn't get anything answered. I don't know why I even keep going here. Well, it's because you didn't talk and you don't have that open communication. So when you see him once a year, you see him or her once every 3 months. I can see this being a lot easier to really get to know each other, get to know your patients, really see their patterns. And
so the way we address that issue of learning, patient education, and communication is when you're in the enhanced wellness program, your visits are twice as long. The shortest visit is 30 minutes.
No kidding.
Your annual wellness is guaranteed at least an hour. Okay.
Wow.
So we get to do that. And then I can invite patients to ask me the questions they want to. And I can spend more time explaining sometimes the concept of how are we going to manage your health? How are we going to do cancer prevention? Why am I recommending this new medication? And sometimes I might sit down and go over an article in the literature to show or a guideline. And I'm convinced that patient education and answering those questions leads to better compliance.
Yep.
People are more likely to take their medication when they understand why.
Yep.
They're more likely to make lifestyle modifications when they understand how and why we recommend that. And I may not have mentioned this, but these people only see me.
Really?
So
Wow.
I get to know them better too. I
Yep.
see them for every visit, their wellness exams, their follow-up exams, their virtual telemedicine visits. And that way I learn more about them. And just like anything else that you do, you get better at it the more time you spend with it.
100%. I totally agree. And another thing I think this helps too is the medical anxiety. You know, if you have something going on and maybe you got to wait to call the main line, tomorrow or you name it, all the traditional things. This really could help, I think, ease some of those burdens with some of the anxiety.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because part, I think, of this enhanced wellness program is, one, is rapid access when something's bothering you. Two is spending the time, because lots of times people just want to know what's going on. Mm-hmm. They have the anxieties. Why is this happening to me? What is happening to me? And we can spend enough time, sometimes even if it's bad news, understanding that still helps the patient to relax and calm down. And it's huge to have those questions answered than to lay there in bed in the middle of the night worrying about it.
Absolutely. Really the program to me is one of those things where it's invaluable, because you never know when, especially if you do start having some different things going on where maybe I'm not starting to not sleep well and I'm starting to get these pains, or X, Y, and Z grab the symptom. To me, it's having that for when the going gets tough, but also even before that with the hour-long annuals and everything else that comes with it, the access. It truly does. There's no value here that, to me, would not be really worth it, especially when it comes to our healthcare, because it's the most important thing we can do for ourselves.
And when you said, worth it, different people at different stages of their lives have different needs.
True.
Okay. For instance, I have a handful of people who have enrolled who are high-level executives, busy, traveling the world, literally.
Yeah.
And when they get sick, they can't stop. They have to have, boom. And I've been called from overseas. I've been called from Florida, and try to guide people through what can we do on the phone? Who do you need to see? Where do you need to go? But they need that right away. And then the other thing is, when they are in town, they want to get in and get out. They're busy. They can't afford to take off a half a day. And the other thing about the time is get in and out. If you're a mother with children, if you're a son taking care of your demented father, you don't have the time to take a whole 4 hours off and call good absolute health care and get a sitter over for, I don't know. Somebody told me the other day that a sitter now for an adult is approaching $100 an hour.
Or call your relatives, you name it. It takes a long time.
So that convenience, I think, hides some of the benefits in terms of cost savings, proper disposition of your problem, time with me, rather than time in the parking lot in the elevator and crossing the big campus and all that other kind of stuff.
I like that. You got a moment to take a quick break with me?
I do.
9:30, I got to pay a quick bill. We'll come back and talk more with Dr. Green. Right after this, we'll learn more about enhanced wellness care and more about APG. You stay there, and we'll be here, RiverBender.com, Roku TV.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
Discover Del Mar Public House.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
Tomorrow isn't built by dreamers. It's built by doers. Because progress doesn't work unless we do. So at Ameren, we've been hard at work putting energy to work for you. Adding underground cables, installing advanced switches and sensors, storm hardening poles and power lines, making the energy grid stronger today so it can meet your needs tomorrow. Learn about projects in your area at RiverBender.com/energyfuture.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com. The time is 9:33 on this 14th day of November. Dr. Chris Green back in the studio. And really enjoying this conversation. And it's cool to see how this is a program that's already been out there, you know, in other bigger cities. Like you said, you talked to your sister in Chicago, and this is pretty standard. But it's great to see this being offered really down here where we're considered still rural, correct, when it comes to medicine or healthcare?
Suburban, rural, borderline.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously have patients from Calhoun County, Jersey County, and then, of course, Madison and Macoupin, right? And so we have a lot of patients come down from the north. So there's a rural, you know, but honestly, good people. This area is wonderful.
I was going to ask you too, you know, we were talking ER visits and everything else, or, you know, getting away from that or going to an urgent care. To me, I can see, and you know this better than I do, this really helping alleviate some of those wait times when it comes to some of those offices. Because if I know it's not anything really major, or if it is something that's been lingering for a few days, I'm a part of the enhanced wellness program, I'll just communicate with you instead of taking the chance and waiting in an urgent care for, you know, whether it's 10 minutes or 10 hours, who knows. But for the emergency room specifically, where there's a lot of people that really could be seen and need to be seen ahead of you. And sometimes that slows the process down if it's just for something minor, you know?
If you show up on your own, sometimes you're waiting a long time.
Yeah.
And like even big barns, you know, sometimes they have waits more than 24 hours.
Yes.
And I've even called them before when I've sent a patient down there and said, this is what they got.
Wow.
Do you need any information? And I'll tell the nurse, just show this CAT scan to the doctor. And the patients have fed back that they've been pulled right back into the back as soon as they've seen the information, right?
I think it's a great program, and it's such a well-rounded one too, because like you said, from executives that have no time or you name it, or the busy moms and dads of the world that are maybe working 2 jobs and managing the household, and really just for everybody that wants to have just the most out of their healthcare experience. You know, you're really going to get the full comforts out of this one, you know?
Right. Well, we're talking about the access, which is good.
Yeah.
But the other thing that this gives me an opportunity, and we talked about patient education, but the other thing that this has allowed me to do is to have the time to explore things that I want to call pioneer medicine. So there's advanced cancer testing, like the Gallery program, which is a blood test for which will catch just about any cancer. It's not covered by insurance, but we have time to discuss that, and the patient can decide whether it's worth their personal dollars to get into that. It's intended for patients over the age of 50. I have time to sit down and discuss the current U.S. Public Health Task Service on proper exercise. We can talk about how many minutes a week, how to divide those minutes, how to schedule those minutes, how to divide it between aerobic and resistance exercise, cover a little bit about the meaning of that for their particular issues. And sometimes we will, another piece of our enhanced wellness, if I think it's appropriate, they get a complimentary fitness visit with our physical therapist.
Really?
They can find their strengths and weaknesses, which sometimes for some of our senior patients, if they've got a bad joint or something, or a bad back, they may have to modify their exercise in a way that allows them to get the benefit without the harm. And so we throw that in there for younger patients who may be more interested in different levels of fitness. And frankly, a lot of them neglect themselves, and it gives me a chance to maybe catalyze a change.
Yeah.
Then with them, we offer them, again, as part of this program, they can do a body composition on our DEXA machine, which is the most accurate way to see what your body fat is. And then we can use that as a launching point to say, you're not as fit as you think you were. Here's the picture, here's the numbers. And when people see numbers and things like that, then that next thing you know, we're going to say, let's do this and let's do another one in a year and see what you've done. How much muscle have you built? How much fat have you taken off? What's happened with your blood pressure, your LDL cholesterol? And we can dovetail that. But these approaches take more time. I like it. I'm happy to do it, but that's part of the membership and the subscription to get into those kinds of depths.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, does like testosterone levels and all that go into that program too, or is that
for the right patient? It does. We do have a parallel program called BIOTE, B-I-O-T-E. Michael Babinski, one of our nurse practitioners, he went off to school to become the hands-on person for this program, which involves hormone replacement for men and women. But this is done medically. We're not doing gymnasium stuff doses. We are just trying to replace absent testosterone or estrogen in patients who have shortages. And frankly, the group that needs this the most are postmenopausal women. And the benefits that I'm seeing from that far exceeded my initial expectation.
Really?
And we don't have anybody in here to tell you, but if they see me in the hall, they tackle me and tell me how good they feel. It's absolutely off the wall.
Well, and so I just wanted to bring that up because so many times we see those Google ads and, anything you want to, call it now, but the internet ads on, weight loss stuff or low testosterone or estrogen issues and all these things that are very, very important. But it's, making sure you go to the right provider and making sure you're not going to that gymnasium style of medicine really that could harm you, and I think it's so important.
And it can. And so typically when we do hormone replacement, it's a medical protocol. It's not a gymnasium protocol.
Right.
So we stay out of the danger zone. We get people back to where they naturally should be, and we use blood testing to monitor that. But if somebody doesn't need it, we don't give it to them. Right. We will address their problems, sexual dysfunction or whatever it might be, but we just won't throw hormones at them. This has to be based on certain levels. And you mentioned obesity, and obviously with these new drugs, we see phenomenal weight loss, major health benefits. There's definitely a place for those. We do wield those tools in our office. But one of the things that come with that some of the clinics don't pay attention to is people lose muscle and people develop osteoporosis when they have massive weight loss on these drugs. And it's critical for them to have the proper nutritional and exercise program with this. And I've had some patients who buy their stuff on the internet or whatever. They're not getting any counseling. They're not getting any guidance. And I'm thinking, you're going to be lighter, but you're going to enter your midlife with weak bones and low muscle, and you're going to have other medical problems, injuries, accidents, pain, whatever might be associated. So we try to gather the whole patient in. I think these weight loss products are phenomenal, but they have to be coupled with a whole health program.
Well, and to me, I think if you polled 10 people, at least 9, hopefully at least 9, would say I'd rather use this through my medical professional if I had the option to do so, and really had that, hour conversation or ongoing discussions. Well, the bottom line, Dr. Green, is this is an investment that we're making on ourselves. It's not going to, this isn't a 2-month thing. This isn't let's just try the Netflix for a month and see how it goes. This is really for people, and just hearing you talking is really for people that really care and are really trying to invest in their long-term health, and it's really important to do so. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. I think to learn the right way to do it is important. Just to go off on physical therapy here for a minute, Please. We have a great physical therapy team. I had a serious injury to my left shoulder 4 years ago with a fracture dislocation and required surgery. I learned more about physical therapy being a patient than I knew about it as a physician. And I also learned that you can't watch a YouTube video or Google and learn how to take care of your body. It's just impossible. A doctor of physical therapy goes to school for, I think now it's a 6-year program. Maybe it's longer. It's considered a doctorate nowadays. And you can't do that in 5 minutes watching a video. And to reproduce some of the things that they could do to help me, and I'm at 100% now, I give them full credit for that.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So bringing them in the room to be part of this advanced health wellness program and allowing them to coach our patients when they need it about how to exercise, how to avoid injury, and to move that fat into muscle. You're taking care of your cardiac issues, your blood pressure, your diabetes, your cholesterol levels, and you should, progress through life healthier and using less resources.
And happier.
Feeling better, happier. And we have a lot of patients now entering their 80s and even their early 90s who are going full blast.
I love it. I think it's incredible. Well, another thing I wanted to touch on just really briefly for the folks that are watching this, are you accepting new patients into the wellness program right now? I know when you started, it was full.
I'm accepting new patients into the wellness program right now. There is I think industry-wide, there's a recommended limit on how many people that you should have in that kind of a practice, simply because you're giving each patient more time.
Right.
And that's somewhere between a head count of 400 and 600.
Wow.
Okay. So a standard practice usually is somewhere between 1,800 and 2,600, to give you an idea.
Wow.
But you're taking that time and you're giving more time to a smaller number of patients.
Sense. Yeah.
Right. We still have a full team of internal medicine providers, primary care providers at our locations in Alton, Edwardsville, and O'Fallon. And they're also taking new patients, but I've moved over more to concentrating on the enhanced wellness portion of that. And then I'm the medical director, and I keep hands-on with the rest of the team.
It's incredible. I'm glad to know how the breakdown works too. And one final thought. What's the best way for somebody just to call if they have any questions? Is it just your office line to say, here's where I'm going through. I'm at this stage in life. I'm 55. I'm really thinking about this enhanced wellness program. Is a phone number the best way, or is email better for communication on questions? There
is a phone number, and right off the top of my head, I don't know if they gave that to you or not, but it's the 1-888 number on our website. Okay. And Jessica Trammell, or
1-888-363-8333.
That's the number.
Absolutely, and that's the number to call for any questions.
That's the number to call for any questions. You'll get a live person, and they can tell you about membership, depending on your situation and how you want to pay, there's a variety of different payment mechanisms available for that.
There are, and you can see more at associatedphysicians.com/enhanced-care. There's 3 different breakdowns. I love this. The yearly option, the 3-month option, the quarterly, and then you have the every month option. And there's a lot of good FAQ information on this website, maybe just to help get you started in case you already had some questions from today's conversation.
Right.
Dr. Green, anything else to talk about for right now?
Well, I could talk about anything you want me to, but I think we've covered the nut of this thing, and really excited about it. Personally, I'm getting a lot of just professional reward for myself over some of the great success stories that we've had with a handful of patients.
Can you share? If I know you can't name names or anything, but have you been able to really see this?
One is calling the emergency room in advance and having the patient let me know that paid off. That's big. Another one is we try to expedite referrals. Things changed during COVID. The way physicians communicate, I think, broke down. I think the time it takes to get in to a specialist or have something done, even like a screening colonoscopy, has gone from weeks to months. And it's very difficult to do that. So again, in this program, I pick up the phone when I have to, and I have let's say a small group of specialists I've worked with over the years that know me personally. These are the people that I've chosen to be the best for my patients. They're the people that I would go to myself. And this week, I've made just roughly, I know I've made 2 texts with referrals, and they would call. I give them the patient's name, birth date, phone number, and diagnosis, and boom, they call me back to get them in right away.
Wow.
Okay. Or sometimes
that's worth it alone.
And then there was another patient who had a concern about one of his imaging studies, and he was going to see the specialist about the abnormalities and really wanted me to call the specialist. So Wednesday evening after hours, I knew the guy. I called him up. We had a nice talk about that along with some socialization. But at the end of it, he said, I'll take good care of so-and-so. And these are things I think that really add a hidden benefit to the patient in terms of speed of care, quality of care, and getting the specialist up to date personally about exactly why you're coming into the office, rather than who are you, why are you here?
Right.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, and one final just thought is it probably gives you, just hearing it gives you the opportunity to really explore your passion and really, and really get to have some, I hate to say the word fun, but really just explore, what you're good at, and really live it with your patients and really be there for them.
It is fun.
Yeah.
And I really do like what I do. I consider myself a student for life. I'm always reading. I like medical trivia. I like to feel that, I'm doing a good job for my patients by pursuing these things. So that's quite rewarding. But oftentimes in these conversations with the specialist, we have a back and forth about what's the latest. Yeah. Tell me what you're doing about these things nowadays. And they can raise my level by these conversations as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dr. Green, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
We'll take a quick break, and we'll link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. 9:50 is the time on this Friday morning. We'll wrap up the 9 o'clock hour. That it was right after this.